Okay, my hair's a mess. But in this video, I'm going to summarize the first half of 2026 in a nutshell. My name is Eddie Cespedes, and in this channel, I'll document my journey on getting to $1 million in net worth. So here we go. I want to start by saying that business-wise, in 2026, I've been doing pretty well. I've been doing a lot better than I thought I could actually ever do in my life. So I want to start off at least with the Etsy side. In this channel, there are other stuff that I'm doing, but in this channel, the last few months, actually, I think most of this year, I've only really been focusing on Etsy and the eBay aspect of my business. I haven't really been talking much about what I'm doing outside of that because it is completely disorganized. It is a mess. It is really just a project for me where I kind of just have an idea and I try to execute it and I try to perfect it before I bring some of those ideas and projects into eBay or the Etsy space. Yeah. So just want to give that caveat before I start. So I want to start with Etsy, and in Etsy, the I've actually been doing a lot of progress. So before I get into any of that, I used to do the Amazon influencer, and I say I used to, but I still do. I don't put any active work into it. It's just work that I did years ago that is kind of still paying out to this day. I tried to get back into it towards last year, and I was uploading a few videos. Income was still all right. It was, being reduced month over month. At one point, it was making about like $250 to $300 a month, and I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, okay, well, I'll keep focusing on this other stuff, and meanwhile, I still have $200 to $300 coming in every month from stuff that I did a few years ago. So, anyways, that has been completely shellacked. So, the Amazon influencer is now down to $85, but that's okay because everything else has went up tenfold. So, I want to start off with Etsy. At the beginning of this year, um, I believe I hadn't even hit 100 sales in Etsy ever. Lifetime sales, I never hit it. So I did hit the lifetime sales of 100. And then I even went as far as right now, as of the time of this recording, I have 360 sales. 200, actually, I think I have this open right here so I could see. So far this year, I have made 209 sales with $7,289 in revenue. That is actually amazing. I didn't think I was gonna get to this point this quick. And to be honest, I'm doing it with only about 4 to 6, maybe sometimes 7 listings on Etsy. So yeah, and my conversion rate, I think for the whole year, I had checked earlier, was about 3 point something percent. For the last 2 months, it's been averaging around like 5.5. So that's pretty good. Now, I will say in the first half of the year, my profit margin on Etsy was about 35 to 40%. And lately, as of I think a couple of months ago, maybe around May or April, I actually got my profit margins to average more around the 60% mark. And I did that just by charging shipping. That was it. Because I realized in some items I was only making like a $3 profit. And I'm like, yo, that is terrible after fees, because Etsy's fees are ridiculous. So once I started charging for shipping, the profit margins just completely like skyrocketed. So it was one small change that completely changed the overall bottom line. And what else would that see? Oh, I also got my reviews. So at the start of the year, my reviews on Etsy were 3.5. And one of the goals that I had was I wanted to get my I wanted to get my store rating up to really just a 4. But right now I'm at a 4.6, which is great. Sorry. So I do see a lot of potential for the Etsy business. I'm gonna be honest, I never expected Etsy to make me more money than Amazon. I always thought Amazon was gonna be the path that was gonna take me to maybe $10,000 a month. It is not. It's definitely not. So seeing that Etsy now performs a lot better and is more consistent than Amazon, that's that's pretty cool. Now let's see eBay. So eBay has really been a wild one. It's been a pleasant surprise. Currently, right now, I'm averaging about 8,500 in gross sales monthly. That's what I'm averaging right now. It's currently declining because I've been focusing on other like aspects of the business. I decided to take some of my time to work more on the business infrastructure kind of things, kind of tighten up my workflow. And as a result, I haven't been able to dedicate as much time to making products or sourcing products and list a whole lot of products. So it is declining, but like I'm not really too worried about it because I've kind of learned certain products a lot better now. So I know I can kind of pick this up at really any minute. And there's also a lot of ideas that I have for eBay and strategies that I haven't even implemented yet. And I believe that when I do implement that, the business will do even better. Also, the whole 8,500 is skewed by some outliers. So I think like 1 month where I made almost 10,000 in sales, and then I had 1 month where I think I did it was like 12 or 13,000, something like that. It's in my video history, and that was in April, and it completely wore me out. But I did make a whole lot of money that month, and it skewed that average up to about 8,500. It's over. I think it's like 8650ish or 8666. That's what the average is. Or the last 90 days, if you divide it by 3 months, it's about 8,600 or something like that. So eBay and Etsy is where I feel like I can be more consistent in what I post because it's the only two mediums where I'm building something and I'm trying to actively grow it. I also do have a separate. I have two Etsy stores, and one of them is more so kind of so I can cross list with eBay, but I kind of don't want to touch it into my main Etsy store because my main Etsy store already has a theme to it, and I only sell things that can kind of fit that theme. And other stuff like that doesn't really have a theme or just random stuff that like I'm trying to experiment with. I put that on my other Etsy store, so I don't even really talk about that because it's not something I'm actively trying to grow. It's just something that I use to try and sell things. I've sold a few stuff through Mercari, whatever. I'm not a fan of that platform. It doesn't really work for me. I feel like in that platform, I end up having to sell everything for dirt cheap. Like I think the stuff that I sell on Mercari, I can get more money for it on eBay. But sometimes when I'm just trying to move inventory, then I move it over to Mercari. And I also do sell on Facebook Marketplace a lot. I don't really think I make uh, too much money from Marketplace. It's more of a place where I offload junk inventory that I end up purchasing. Like if I purchase something in bulk or I receive, because actually, if I'm being honest, the majority of my inventory right now is free. So I have some like specific products that I do pay for, but when I'm just selling random stuff, a lot of it I get for free. Sometimes when I get a lot of junk, I just offload that in Marketplace by like turning it into like one like large packaging bundle or whatever. Since it's Marketplace, people don't have to pay shipping, so sometimes it's easier because they just come by, pick it up. It's uh it's a different niche or a different it's a different feel when I sell on Marketplace as opposed to Etsy. Uh, so I do sell through Marketplace. I don't make as much money, but I do get a lot of inventory through Marketplace. And also, like, there's different business ideas I experiment with through Marketplace. So that's where I get proof of concept. So Marketplace, that's the word I'm looking for. Marketplace for me is a place where I can validate my ideas and get proof of concept. If I have proof of concept, then I take it to the e-commerce space. There's also a lot of ideas again that that I have in my head that I want to work on, some skills that I got to learn first. And I learned all that through Marketplace. I also send a lot of materials if I can't even sell it for scrap. I do end up taking them apart and selling it for its raw value. So I will send stuff to refineries sometimes, and I'll send it to recycle plants and things like that. So I do make a decent amount of income from there. But all that, since it's so convoluted, I don't even bother to really talk about it. I think I've said that's another way that I make money, but I'm not going to sit here and list like a bunch of other income sources that kind of are all over the place that don't make sense, right? It could be a couple $100 here, it could be then $20 here, $5 there. Like it's just it's too much. So I don't. And if I'm being honest, I kind of put all that into my QuickBooks as like one category. So I don't even know how to. Well, I know how, but I don't even try to uh, break that apart into like different sections because to me that's just all one jumbled up space, and I kind of leave that alone. And when I'm here on camera, I just discuss Etsy and eBay. So that is my other um, revenue source, which is just all over the place. Uh, Real estate, this one is interesting. So the Apopka rental that I have, which was the last, well, not the last, the second to last rental, my third property that I purchased. It it has a whole bunch of issues, but I've now been able to fix the roof, and that was one of the biggest issues that I had, where the roof was constantly leaking, and I think it was actually damaging a lot of the drywall on certain parts of the house. So now I think those issues are done. I haven't had any complaints about mold or drywall issues in a while actually. So I did the hard part. The most of the roof is already completed. I kind of just got to work on the edges and those certain flash points, and I plan on doing that next week. Which reminds me, I got to make a note somewhere because I have to take notes. I got to do some research first. You know, I'm not really a contractor, but I got to do some research first and figure out how I want to tackle this issue because I already spent all the money that I had to spend on contractors and laborers. And I mean, even though it was really a friend of mine, but really paid him what I was willing to spend. Now this last part, I think I'm gonna put it on my shoulders because it's up to me now to finish this project completely and call it a day, and then hopefully I can find a way uh, to work with the insurance so that they can lower my premium, and then I can hopefully I would love to lower the payments on this house some more. Another issue with that property is all my tenants are behind and I have not been keeping up with the books. So that is a total nightmare. It's a whole disaster that I'm working with. So the positive, the house and the repairs are looking good. The house, as far as um, the uh, the structure of the house is looking good. So I'm pretty confident about that. But as far as the tenant in the house, complete disaster. And I need to figure this out really quick because this is really hurting my portfolio right now. Um, so yeah, so that is the update on that first rental. And then also, as far as real estate is concerned, I'm losing one other tenant. They were both on a lease, but one of them is leaving. So the other one is taking over the lease. And yeah, so I lost one tenant. Doesn't affect the bottom line though, because he's just gonna be responsible for the whole rent. So all that's good. I amended the lease and all of that. And let's see what else happened this first quarter. Um, oh, I was able to acquire my mom's SUV, her large SUV truck for work, and it still has problems. It has a lot of problems, but it's been getting me from point A to point B, so that's pretty good. And I've been using it a lot for work, for my business and stuff like that. So I think I'm definitely getting my money's worth for it. That and then some. So even though it's messed up, still going. So I'm just gonna keep writing that out till it doesn't go no more. I also built an eBay app. So one of the problems I was having was listing was really exhausting for me, especially when I list at night, even if it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Uh, it's such a passive task that it makes me fall asleep sometimes. So if I can't get to listing early during the day, I fall asleep when it's like early in the evening. So I built an app where I can just upload pictures, type a few notes. Don't even need to type a few notes if I don't want to. Push a button, and then the listing just goes live. Well, actually, that's a lie. I push a button, and then I get a draft of the listing. I get to review it, and then push another button, and it goes straight into my posted listings on eBay. And I at first I thought it was like pointless, so I had to test it first. But I think I've sold quite a few items that have been listed from the app. So the AI that I have in it is doing a pretty good job at listing, and it hasn't affected sales. So that's really good. It still does have its quirks. I think like the pricing is very sporadic. It doesn't. I think it doesn't do a good job at price research. But as far as SEO titling, descriptions, which really descriptions are the ones that I hate the most. Uh, it'll do conditions. It does really everything for me. It does the shipping dimensions and all of that, and it's really pretty good. So all I really got to do is play with the price, and after that, everything is good. So that does help with the bottleneck of listing. So that is a it's a huge accomplishment. Took me about a month to work on that app. I also built an app for work that helps me review paperwork automatically. So even though the manual process of reviewing paperwork is actually faster if a human does it, it is kind of exhausting, and the humans tend to get distracted a little bit more as well. And it happens to me, especially when it's such a passive task that my brain ends up like, thinking about something else. So with this app that I build, I also made a desktop version of it. So now I can just review paperwork with it. It might take a little bit longer, or like where if I do it, it might take uh, maybe 20 to 30 seconds if I'm really locked in focus. This app might do it in 30 to 40 seconds, maybe depending on the situation, but it's consistent. It's pretty good. It does have some quirks, so sometimes I do have to go over it like myself when some of uh, the output it looks a little strange, but overall it works really good, and it saves me bandwidth, so I can kind of like put headphones in or focus on a different task as the paperwork is being reviewed. So that's really the main thing that I wanted from the app, was just to clear my head a little bit. So I built that. I built a few other apps, but I realized I'm probably not going to use them. Build like a task manager app. I need to kind of tweak that a little bit. I need to tweak it so that it can be something that I actually want to use, as opposed to something that I thought was pretty cool, but I'm not even touching. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Hmm. Oh, and then I received my yearly raise at my job. I mean, it's not really much of news or an accomplishment because it's just something that happens like every year. So, but it does help me with the house expenses, the family expenses. So now I can kind of pay the family expenses and the family bills a little bit more comfortable, and I don't have to touch business income as much because I'm trying not to use business income for my personal life. I'm trying to use more, or for my family life, I'm trying to use the business income to reinvest and grow the business, or to grow the overall net worth, because right, the goal is 1 million. And that is pretty much uh, the first half of 2026 in a nutshell. My net worth, I started this year at 326,000. By the midway point, I am now at 421,000. So that was almost a $100,000 net worth, or jump in net worth, 96,000 to be exact. So I'm really happy about that. Now that doesn't mean that I made $96,000 in income. it just kind of means that the assets kind of started, kind of taking off. And that, Iran war crisis, whatever that we ended up having, where like the market tanked, it really tanked. Um, One of my strategies for that, at least in this administration, anyways. Not to get political, but whenever the market tanks, I'm pretty confident that it's gonna go right back up relatively quick. So, and by quick, I mean it could be a month or it could be 3 or 4 months. But it's already happened like 3 times during this administration. So, if there's anything that I know for certain is if the market tanks, I go in and it's gonna go back up. So when it tanks, when I jump back into the market, I leverage in. So I'll use like 4x or 5x leverage ETFs, and then that's how I take advantage of the market swings. So that did happen this first half of the year. So we invaded Iran, market tanked. I put a bunch of my money in leverage. I think I sold some stocks that were in like the S&P, and I have some stuff in like bonds ETFs. So I kind of sold all of that, and then I went into I think it's either a 3x or a 4x leverage. And once the market started recovering, I probably, I think I like tripled my money or whatever, something like that. It's ridiculous. So to me, it's like easy money. So I did that, and that helped a lot. Also, money that I'm putting in my retirement account. Once the market drops, I'm still dollar cost averaging in. So when it recovers, obviously you make a lot of money. So yeah, so it's 96,000. Oh, but I have made this year, for the first half of this year, I ended up making more money than what I made in all of last year. So that is something that I do want to put here on record. So, anyways, that's it for now, and we'll see you guys at the probably at the end of the year with the overall summary of how the year ended up going.